Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Emily and I have a little bit of a different video. Today we're just going to sit down, relax, talk about some books. I hope you enjoy it, and obviously if you would like to see more content like this, don't forget to give me a like, leave a comment as well, also subscribe. But let's get into it. Okay, so this video, I wanted to do a little bit more like a deep dive on an individual book, specifically my book of the month. If you've watched my two previous videos, if not, I will link them at the end of this video. I started a New Year's resolution where I read at least one book a month. I loved reading as a kid and I used to read so much faster than I do now. But I stopped reading for a while, so I wanted to hop back into it, and I set myself a goal to read at least one book a month. I'm going to kind of post about the books that I've read because I've just been really enjoying it. So this book that we are going to talk about would be my July book of the month, which is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serrell. This book was so good to me. It's one of those books that was hard for me to put down. It took me a little bit longer to read, more because I had so much going on in life, but easily if I didn't, or if I went on a vacation, this would be done in 2 days, 3 days. It's so cute, it's so good. Our main character's name is Katie, and our other character's name, I will say, like side character, is Carol, who is her mother. And honestly, Katie very much so loves her mom. That is her best friend. Katie always went to her mom, Carol, for answers to anything. Unfortunately, Carol got sick and ended up passing away, which kind of leaves Katie spiraling a little bit, not knowing who she is. So they had this trip to Italy planned because Carol went to Italy when she was younger and found it very inspirational, and it was her favorite place ever to go, which is Postiano. If you don't know where that is, that's in the Amalfi Coast of Italy. She doesn't only go to Postiano, but she goes to like Naples and Capri. She goes to all these places that were very, very meaningful for her mom, and they had this huge trip planned so Katie could experience it, and unfortunately Carol passes away, which kind of leaves Katie to take this trip on her own to kind of rediscover herself, because she didn't have her mom anymore, and like I said, she was spiraling because of that. The thing is once Katie gets to the Amalfi Coast, something crazy happens. Carol is there, but Carol isn't Carol. Carol is in her 30s and is in Postiano, which to me, I would have freaked out. And Katie didn't freak out. I mean, she did a little bit, but she was very much like, yeah, see you tomorrow. I would have screamed and been like, how are you here? What is going on? You're my mom. What is happening, right? That's pretty much the gist of it. There is a little bit of romance in it as well. She meets a guy while she's there, if you're into the romance side of this, but for the most part, the relationship that you're really, really focused on, and even like in a romantic way, but not romantic in the sense of a full-blown like lover situation, but very romantic in the sense of like scenery and storyline. But it's a very interesting plot and a very interesting book. So that's kind of the summary of the book. It's definitely a read. I would recommend this book to anyone. There's a little bit of everything in there. The type of book that I absolutely love is a character development story, and not where you would think like it's focused in on the romance or it's focused in on a mental health crisis or even just anything. I love a book that you have a character and you focus on that character the entire time, and they could have a romance story, they can have a career growth, like everything. I love being able to kind of jump in and not live someone else's life a little bit, but be able to relate to the main character. And obviously in real life, we aren't only having relationships, we aren't only changing careers, we aren't only getting new pets, we aren't only moving. Like, there's tons going on all at once. And I love a book that does that. It's not only experiencing Katie and finding her mom, which is crazy, but Katie finding her mom and kind of being able to heal through that. There's a huge plot twist in it as well. I'm not going to spoil that because that is the reason to read the book. But it doesn't only focus on that. Like I said, she ends up having like a romantic relationship with someone. She ends up gaining friends in a country all by herself. Katie grows from this person who in the beginning you have sympathy for because her mom passes away. But throughout the book, you kind of go from loving Katie to hating Katie, loving Carol to hating Carol, like, and then loving them again and wanting them to rekindle, you know, all of these things. So you have sympathy for Katie in the beginning because obviously her mom just passed away. And like I said, she describes her mom as like her person. She's the only person in the world for her. She has a husband, but it's always just been like her and her mom against the world. Something that I genuinely noticed through the rest of the book is that Katie really struggles to kind of form an opinion on her own or live to her own rules and live to her own standards and understand that it's okay to do things your way, even if it may disrupt someone else's life or it may disappoint someone. But if people genuinely care about you, they will change with you and they will accept your change. I kind of see a lot of, especially towards like the end of the book, you see Katie very much so like conflicted between how she wants to handle things versus how her mom would handle things. And she's very stuck on the fact of disappointing her mom. In one of the chapters, which is a flashback, they talk about how Katie and her husband wanted to have a kid. Specifically, the husband brought up having a kid in their 20s, and Katie was very much like, well, let's wait till we're older, maybe in our 30s. And he said, why? So we could be like your parents. And she said, give me a week, I'll think about it. Katie didn't really think about it. She went to her mom and asked her how she felt about it. Her mom said, no, wait. So then Katie said, no, wait. There's definitely a little bit of a control thing there. And I don't think Carol in any way means to control Katie's life. I think Katie just may be a little bit too attached to her mom and didn't really see herself as like her own individual, which is why Carol passing away devastated her so much, and she felt like everything was over. Her like marriage was over because Carol's not there anymore. Her relationship with her dad is over because Carol isn't there anymore. Her career is done because Carol isn't there anymore. And her mom shouldn't really play any role in the sense of her marriage or her career unless maybe she was her boss. But there's definitely a little bit of like that unhealthy mindset trickling into Katie's life. Carol, who is like the other main character, obviously comes back to life out of nowhere somehow, but Carol's her mom. In Postiano, she's 30. In real life, she's like in her 60s, 50s, 60s. So Carol was very much so like picturesque. She was a great friend, a great wife, a great mother. There was never a hair out of place. And there was always meals on the table. She always cooked for everybody. She cooked every night, and she hosted parties and family get-togethers on weekends as well. Unfortunately, like I said, Carol fell ill to cancer, and Katie started to slowly disconnect from her, I think, during that illness, because Carol, as she got more and more ill, was losing more weight and losing not cognitive ability, but physical ability to really even talk or get a sentence out, which really disconnected Katie, because that wasn't the woman that she always knew and saw. Like, bubbly woman of Carol and lively Carol changed to this sickly, can't even get out of bed, can't get a sentence out woman that really hurt Katie. There is a surprise of a huge plot twist that changes Katie's point of view completely about Carol in this book, and it almost gives Katie that closure of what she needs to be able to go home, because Katie left to Italy and was not coming back anytime soon. That's kind of the book without giving too many spoilers here and there. Something that I absolutely love. This isn't my first Rebecca Serrell book, but something I love about her books in specific, and there's other people's books that have those as well, or have this as well, but she always has them in her books, is there are topics and questions in the back that you can kind of go through as you're reading. And I find this interesting because your answer to each question will always change, especially the first few. I don't really like to go to the last few questions because sometimes they can spoil the book, but the one or two questions, I love to see my opinion change of them. So there's just some questions in here that are really fun. It gives you ideas to enhance your book club, what meals to bring, what things to talk about. And then they also ask Rebecca questions about the book, and she provides answers in the back. So I always find that really interesting and really cool. Something else that was really, really fun that I loved in this one was that she provided the email thread that she had with Hotel Poseidon, which is pretty much the main place of where all of this takes place, where Katie is staying in Postiano. So Hotel Poseidon's a real place, and she provided the email threads of her talking about being able to use them in her book and how much inspiration that they brought, because she actually went and stayed there prior to writing this book. She also was really close to her mom, and from when this book was written, her mom was still alive, and she was saying it's really hard for her to even process the idea of her mom passing away and not having her in her life. So this book was kind of a way of her being able to, I guess, kind of talk about the fear of her mom dying and maybe what that would look like. It's a really interesting book. 10 out of 10 read. I think that's all I have to say about it, but I hope you pick this book up and read it yourself at some point. Next month's book is also a Rebecca Serrell book. It is 5 Years' Time. I actually have it. Let me grab it and show you it. So this is this upcoming month's book, 5 Years' Time by Rebecca Serrell. I'm going to start reading this. I will give a book review on this one in a month as well. If you want to get this yourself and read it with me, I will provide a link down in the description to get this book as well as One Italian Summer off of Amazon. But that is pretty much it. I will see you guys with a vlog next week. Bye.